I mean, that would
All
probably be
right.
more interesting.
Hello, hello.
We
We
live, we
are
live.
live. Um,
Books.
and basically, I know you don't want to look at Greg's face. You just want to look at those book covers. So he's going to hold a book cover in front of his face for the entire
The
show
entire
tonight.
time.
Welcome. I am Dave Lawson, your host for this evening, and also an author, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later. Got with me today, GJ Greg Jack Terral, who is kind of our man of the hour because I believe his book comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're also going to be talking about some other Scribes releases. R.A. Sandpiper, her book, I believe, comes out in 2 days. I think it was a May 10th release. She might be in the chat, or she said she was going to at least pop in at some point. I'm pretty sure her book comes out in 2 days. So we've got like two very quick releases. And then we'll talk about this other release that really doesn't matter happening at the end of the month. We'll get to that. But first of all, let's see who's here in the chat. We've got Alex saying howdy, howdy.
It's embarrassing.
Greg, you have been elevated to scamp status.
I think I've always sort of been a scamp. I just keep it on the down low.
Before this moment.
Before
this, you were just Greg. And then there was the king of scamps was Nick. And then I was the scamp prince.
The scamp prince?
I'm the
scamp jester, maybe. The scamp knave.
I'll take the scamp jester, and now you are the scamp prince. So you might kill Nick and take his crown.
Oh, the rising star of scampdom is here. I'm looking for a crown. So
Lamia's here. She says good evening or morning for some of us. Lamia, pre-baby Lamia would be up at like 3 a.m. and be like, I'm leaving work. But post-baby Lamia might not be doing that quite as much. We've got Will here in the chat. What's up, Will?
Hello.
And we've got Audrey.
Yeah, I was about to say your best friend and key beta reader.
Audrey is the best. Like, Audrey is the greatest person ever. And then Richard said, we said the magic words. Nick's not here, Richard. I'm sorry. And then Lamia is just up. So what we're going to do here, first of all, Greg, just tomorrow's the big day, the end of the trilogy, release of book 3. Can you just give us kind of a brief description of just your trilogy as a whole? Just the whole thing.
Yeah.
If there's someone here in the chat, I don't think there is, who's never heard of the Binding Tenets series before, give them the 1 minute pitch.
1 minute pitch. So it's a very tight, introspective journey following Lynn. He's a soldier. In book 1, he's a soldier. In book 2, he's more of a heroic figure. He's starting to do things a little more traditionally heroic, probably, and not a label he gives himself, but others do. And then in book 3, he is a bit worried that he's a monster. And it's like a very tight adventure, plotting-wise. But it's soldiers, monsters, magic, a little bit of unrequited love, some found family, and a little bittersweet, maybe a little bit. By the ending. So, but it has been an amazing journey to just get it done. So that's, yeah.
I will say, in my heart, the love is requited.
Yeah, okay, fair, yeah.
Bill and I are going to write that fan fiction.
Yeah. Any requited love? Maybe like a touch, a splash. There's a little bit of appreciating what you had after it's too late. A little bit of that for a few people, not just Lynn. So a little bit.
Audrey might be checking out some Binding Tenets. Alex says, I'm glad Dave's dog thinks he's cool. At least there's one. You know, I'll take what I can get.
Right. Ro absolutely thinks you're cool.
Ro thinks I am the greatest person to ever.
To be fair, if Reese, the dog who is not allowed in the office because he is so noisy and demanding, if he met you, he would also probably think you're cool. He's a very people-friendly dog. He loves people,
I make friends with all the dogs. That's what I do. So this is the final book of the trilogy.
Yes.
We'll talk about what's next for Greg here in a little bit, Richard. That's one of my questions here, but it doesn't count as requited if they only discover they love each other after they've ditched the other one.
Ditched is maybe not the right word for it, but I don't know. I wouldn't use the word killed probably, but hashtag free Denny. True. Ditched. No, it's not so much ditching. It's complicated, and like most relationships, it's complicated. So,
all right. So, go ahead, give us your thoughts. Like this third book of the trilogy, do you think that it's is it the ending book that your legions of fans have been waiting for? Is this does it, how do you think of it as a trilogy closer?
I really love it as an end cap to Lynn's journey. I think I've had, maybe 3 people finish it, right, which is okay. But Bill was the first, and he, appreciated it, and gave some feedback on certain things and helped me, shape it into what it would become. But Jeanette and Andres were both 2 very early beta readers who got a hold of it, and their reactions are absolutely what I was hoping to accomplish. And if the rest of the readers who end up either finding this story down the road or who have been waiting for book 3 to come out find it, I really hope that they that it resonates with them, because I am worried that maybe some fans won't enjoy it, but that's the nature of it, right? It's a very scary thing saying that something is finished. But I can't imagine Lynn's journey any other way. So I'm very happy with the final product.
Would you say that he ever falls into Lynn's sanity?
He definitely stumbles, and there's definitely moments where, because in book 1, the setup, right, one of the big sort of conceits of the novel is, is Lynn going mad, right? Is he going to lose himself to the magic? Will he become untethered? And the big debate is like, oh, what is untethered? Is it a state of being? Is it, so on and so forth? Is it just a word that the government has made to keep the masses in control? And it's hinted at and explored that maybe it's a little bit of everything, right? Is that 2 truths can exist at the same time, right? And so it's very much a journey of Lynn kind of struggling with who he is after the events of book 1, because book 1 was originally written to be queried, right? So it was sort of self-contained while also setting up a larger world was like the plan. And from the time that I published book 1, I knew the direction that the series was going to go. I just had it sort of set up to be standalone capable, if, publishing houses being as they were. I lost my train of thought. So I always knew that he would have to tackle how he is after the events of book 1 and come to terms with his struggle. So,
right, and
very cyberpsychosis. True.
I feel like there's something you haven't talked about here.
Okay.
And it's something that maybe you haven't talked about enough in general.
Is it my trauma?
What?
Is it my trauma? I don't want to talk.
Your drama? No.
Drama, sorry.
So there are 3 books in the series, yes. 3 novels. There is also a novella, which I have read, That is a good novella that I feel like you never talk about and you never try to get people to read. And I think you have like 5 ratings on Goodreads, and it's like, it's a good novella, but no one has seen it. You don't even know what your copy is.
I don't even have it hardly on my binding tenant shelf. But Bitter Ends, right? So thank you, Dave. So it is a novella, and I am super proud of it. It did not continue forward in the Sphinx contest, but I'm super proud of it. It's pretty self-contained. It takes place before the events of. I got some custom character art for the characters, sort of, but it takes place before the events of Bloodwoven, and it follows an antagonistic force called the King's Noose, which are the sort of boogeymen that keep the soldiers of the Ferucium, which is what Lynn was a part of, in line. So it follows their journey of training. So it starts when they're like children and proceeds until essentially the events of Bloodwoven. And I actually, thank you, Dave. I do love the novella. I think it's an interesting dive into a very similar sort of path that Lynn could have gone down, while making the world just a little bit bigger, and then it just gets sort of blown open in book 2. So I think I didn't talk about it a lot just because it sort of released to a very quiet reception, and that's my fault, for not really pushing it more. But if you sign up to my newsletter, it's a free ebook.
That was my next question
Yes.
where can your legions of fans find this novella?
Legions.
And if I were a better booktuber, I'd have that link in the bio of this video on YouTube, but I don't even really know how to do that.
I haven't played with enough to know either, so we might just be up the creek without a paddle on that. But it's
Statmo.
It is Statmo
1. Is it Statmo 1? Okay.
It's the website is on my link tree, and I'm super proud of my website. I worked very hard on it. It's got this really cool countdown timer that tells you that we're 6 hours away from Bloodless's launch.
Everyone now needs to go to, is it stationarymomentum.com?
Yeah, it's which I know is kind of convoluted, but it's because initially in 2021, 2022, when I made the website, when I bought the domain, I was like, oh, I'm going to be like a collective. I'm going to help my artist friend have a platform, and maybe find other authors to share our works with. And then when that sort of didn't pan out, I was like, you know what, I'll just keep the domain because I'm cheap and I didn't want to go through the hassle of the very simple hassle, I should say. Is book 3 out in the UK yet then? I don't think so. So my countdown says we're 12 hours away, but I also don't know how accurate it is, and it looks like it's not counting down. So it's frozen on 12 hours and 45 minutes. Which is
the book's never coming out, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we baited you guys. I'm not releasing the 3rd book.
Lions, L. I never know how to.
Hello.
Hi, Lions. Hi, L. Hi, EL.
Yeah, I don't know either. I always just think L. So,
I think
but it's
L,
probably
yeah.
I mean, it might be out in the UK. I've seen it release early before Bloodwoven actually released on the 8th when it was scheduled for the 9th. Which, that's another thing. I did all this in a calendar year intentionally. So Bloodless shares release date with Bloodwoven. So, which is a really kind of cool full circle type of thing. But
so Bloodless might be available on KDP in England right now. So L, Lions, one of those two, either one works. So my next question for you, We've talked about these. What is next for Gregory Jack Terrell?
Right. Are all of my books on KDP? Sorry. Yes, they are.
Except for the
all
novella.
of them are. Yeah, I had to. I didn't know that you weren't supposed to, so I did have the novella up on KDP for a little bit, and then I took it off because I didn't want my account to get banned. Because you can't do that. What's next? So Alex in the chat was a wonderful alpha reader for a project I have called Cracks of the Deepest Black. That I've been toiling away on. I started it in October. I got the first draft done sometime in, I don't know, earlier this year. And that one is a more traditional epic fantasy, but it's heavily inspired by Final Fantasy. I can't, talk about the book without mentioning Bill Adams and God's Blood Tragedy, because seeing him pull that sort of story off that was so familiar to me, trope wise, and elements of Final Fantasy, while making it like uniquely his own. I couldn't have, because I had this plan for Cracks for a while, and I was like, I can't do that. Like, people are going to see like how similar it is to like certain things, and some of these like staples of the franchise Final Fantasy in general. And I was like, I probably can't pull it off. And then seeing that Bill not only did it but knocked it out of the park, in my opinion. I was like, you know what? I was just super inspired. So convinced me sort of to go with it. And now the final product, I'm in love with it. Of course, as an author, you probably love all your babies, right? Like all your little books. But I think Cracks is gonna, if Bloodwoven being like a third person limited single character POV, some readers might not mesh with that. I think this being a more sort of traditional epic, wide scoped fantasy might really interest some people, and I think it's pretty good. Yeah, he did. I'm also working on a very different first person story called He Who Ate the Wild, and that's sort of inspired by Princess Mononoke, this anime called Mushishi, and a few other things. So it's very kind of folklorish and mystical mountains, along with obviously some of those Eastern influences. So those are my two big current projects. Crusts of the Deepest Bread.
I've got great. One fan already for that one.
You got something for everything is what you got, dude. It's so good.
So, did Bloodwoven come out on May 9th last year?
Yes. Well, it might have been May 8th, like I said, but it was supposed to be May 9th.
That is really cool. I didn't even I guess I knew you'd released it in May to try to make sure you got it released in time for Spiffbo.
Yeah.
But I didn't really connect on the whole May
9th.
The 1 year birthday of the first book.
And I did and I intentionally did Bloodbound should have been November 9th, just 6 months apart for each one. But I think so if Bloodwoven wasn't May 8th, then Bloodbound was probably November 8th, which doesn't matter, but one of them is off by a day.
When is Blood coming out?
Blood will be releasing at this rate probably May 2029. We'll see what's going on with it.
And it's important for everyone to know the correct spelling of Blood.
It's
the fake book 4 of this series. It's spelled like that.
Blood. Yeah, it's but yeah, there are a few things that I did with the series or tried to do. Obviously release them on the same date, and then one thing was like Lynn's in the foreground, right? And I had another concept with the O that initially the stylized O in Woven would be very crisp and bright, and then over the course of the series it would decay or lose some of its luster, and we just we never got that to work. So So Lynn's in the foreground on book 1. He's like in the mid-ground sort of on book 2. And then on book 3, he is intentionally not on the cover because I've had some people ask, like, "Oh, is that Lynn?" And yeah, but he is on the back cover. No, he didn't die, but he's on the back. And it was all intentional. I
have to say, like, I love all the covers. I thought book 2 was going to be my favorite. I thought book 2 was like Bloodbound. Yeah. There's no beating the Bloodbound, and I feel like Bloodless just barely.
Yeah, the artist Christiana Leone, she's fantastic. She's super talented. She's doing some character portraits for Lorraine, another one of our scribes, which look amazing. Bloodless is hands down my favorite. There's something really special to me about Lynn holding Malir at the scene where this is. I think it encapsulates the story really, really well and what I was like trying to accomplish with it. And if it turns people off because it's like, oh, there's a baby on the cover, those readers probably wouldn't really enjoy the story anyways. And that's okay, because I've had a lot of people tell me that they picked it up because of the cover, because that's not something that you see in fantasy represented a lot. So
the original title was actually 3 Vikings and a Baby.
3 Vikings and a Baby. Yeah. Thank you, Lamia, and NL. Thank you.
And if you look at all 3 of them together, can you put them upside, like the spines?
You want the spines?
Yeah.
So unfortunately,
lift them up a little bit higher.
How's that? Hang on.
And I know you've done, like, I feel like they have a really nice, like maybe what I was thinking of was on your Twitter, the picture that I found to put as the background for the image for this. You or your artist made that one where you have the 3 covers kind of across.
Yeah, I
they
collated
work
those
so well together.
It blends. They all move together really, really well. And then the spines, again, concept and execution kind of end up a little bit different, but it was like, oh, I'll just make, the first one was meant to be like a crimson red, and Amazon printers just couldn't make it work, so it turned out black. And then I had to pivot to instead of, like, I think it was going to be crimson, pink, and then white, I had to pivot to be black, kind of gray, and then white, because I just wanted them to sort of fade out and stuff. But yeah, that's it. And then the novella, I did my own cover in Adobe Express. No AI used. Procreate was also a huge tool once I got the sort of asset. But
lift that up again so they can see the bottom of it with the snake like eating itself.
Yeah, and the reason. Oh, go ahead.
That was one of the stickers that you sent out with Bloodwoven, was the snake eating itself. Can you describe that briefly?
Yeah. So the sticker I sent out was actually just this kind of faded image around the snake, because I didn't have this image made when Bloodwoven was done. But the idea behind the snake eating itself is, I guess this is a little bit of trivia, but the Ladrican sigil, the flag for sort of the one of the main antagonistic forces, is a coiled serpent. And so the idea behind this cover, other than being Ouroboros and the snake that's always eating his tail and things, going in a cycle, other than all that, was because coiled serpent and the Ladrican flag. So,
all right. So we're going to come back to you here in a little bit. We're going to talk.
No worries. Let's talk about the other people.
5-year plan and everything. Right now, we're going to talk about R.A. Sandpiper's
yes,
soon to be released book 3. If I were a better booktuber, I'd have an image of it ready to go
linked in the
description. Shit, I'm a horrible booktuber. Rach in the comments, is it May 10th? So 2 days from now? That's what I was thinking, but I was not quite sure. So Rach has written these 2 books already. A Pocket of
You got this.
That's A Promise of Blood. I'm a terrible booktuber, guys. A Pocket of Lies, which is the first book.
And was fantastic. I have read that one.
Like, so Rach markets it as a glacially slow burn romance, but it's within a dark fantasy. Book 1 has absolutely no romance at all beyond
I think there's the hints of it.
Glances.
Yeah, that's fair.
Book 2 has a little bit of romance. Book 3 has a little bit more, but in general, and I was telling Greg before the show came on, at Rach here in the chat says it's mostly dark fantasy. I mean, it is, for me, one of the best indie trilogies that I have read. I've read the whole thing now because I kind of got to read book 3 early. Suck it, Alex. And so for me, it's one of the best ones out there. It follows Surrey, who is this young thief who, oh my God, everything bad that could happen to Surrey happens to Surrey. Yeah. And her way of kind of bad things happen, and she just is like, well, how can I try to make it through this? I'll try this new thing. And then something else bad happens, and she's like, well, shit, how do I get through this? I'll try, and something else bad happens. But Surrey is this young thief, and she has to deal with the Lord of Death himself, Cole, who is part Fae. If you're thinking this is your like ACOTAR Fae,
yeah, I was about to say
not ACOTAR. Like it is a lot more. Just they're not like, I don't know. I haven't read ACOTAR, so I can't actually say how they're different. But it doesn't remind me of the Romantasy Fae.
They're very dark, right?
But it's very dark, and it's very like super well written. And Rach just brings these characters to life. Book 2 was really good. Book 3, for the people who get there, like I feel like it blows the cover off of the series, and like an incredibly like exciting end for people who have read it. I was telling Greg about my favorite character, Nadrian or Nadrian, and Rach, you can tell us how to pronounce it correctly in the chat. I don't think he actually shows up until partway through book 2, but for me, he completely just like takes everything by storm and becomes the best character. He's also the snarky, witty guy, so of course he's my favorite character. It's kind of what I do. But if you are someone who reads fantasy books, don't fall into the like oh well, there's romance, it's slow burn romance, whatever, I don't read romance. Read these books. They are fantastic all the way through. Yeah, there's romance, but you know what else has romance? Most people's lives.
Yes.
I have had a romantic subplot in both books that I've written, but I'm also a softie. Greg has hinted at romance in his books, but he's evil and hates us all and wants us to cry.
Just doesn't always work out.
I do not have a copy of book 3 yet because it doesn't come out for 2 more days, but I will be ordering one because I need to complete my trilogy. But definitely, Rachel's book is coming out in 2 days. It's fantastic. Greg, you've read book 1.
Yep.
Can you give us your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. So I went in with not a lot of expectations or like understanding of what the plot would be, other than, oh, it's kind of dark and there's some romance. And then I was like, oh, there's romance, not really, but It was really good. It was really interesting. The magic was unique. Suri gets on the struggle bus very early on and doesn't get let off. The bus driver's like, "No, sorry, door's locked. No stops for the next I don't know 3 cities." So it's very good as a individual who only reads fantasy. I don't really read hardly anything else. Some sci-fi a little bit, and some like modern speculative fiction that I wouldn't really categorize as fantasy. But it was very good. I enjoyed it, and if the target audience is romantic fantasy fans, I think anyone could enjoy this, like legitimately, because I wouldn't pick up like a Akatar just because it doesn't. I just didn't. I think I read like a first chapter thing once for that, and I was like, it's not really for me. That's fine. So, but this was great. I really enjoyed it.
I mean, I have read the first 2 books of Fourth Wing, and I liked them for what they were.
I tried. I tried because a friend was like, "Hey,
well,
you just
my
give it a
wife
try."
bought them for me. So I was I was writing. I actually at that point I actually hadn't started writing fantasy books yet, but I was reading lots of fantasy books, and for Christmas she knew I loved fantasy books, and I was reading a bunch.
It was the hottest
I love
fantasy
to
of
read,
its year.
and she bought me Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, which I thought I had told my mom to buy Fourth Wing for her because she'd seemed interested in it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really interested in them, but she bought them for me. I read them. I liked Fourth Wing. Iron Flame wasn't quite as good.
I heard it's sort of a hot mess, and that book 3 is even more of a hot mess.
I'm gonna read book 3 at some point, but
yeah.
Iron Flame, just the first like 300 pages was a lot of like miscommunication. You don't trust me. I do trust you. Tell me you love me. No, I can't tell you I love you, even though I love you, because you don't trust me. Like,
yeah, some melodrama.
It was kind of like I felt like it didn't the melodrama in book 2 didn't work for me.
Yeah.
One thing I'll tell you is that there's not much melodrama in the Amafire trilogy.
I don't think there is. No.
By the way, for anyone here, anyone checking out this live after book 1, A Pocket of Lies, which was one of my top 3 books of 2024, will be free tomorrow until the end of the weekend. Check it out, even if you're like, well, I don't read romance. Like I said, there's maybe a few lingering glances, and it is a stellar dark fantasy. And as E.L. Lyons says right here, even Abercrombie has romance. And you know what? I'll tell you, Abercrombie has some like affecting romances.
Scenes.
Like,
yeah,
I like the characters in Abercrombie. I know everyone's like, well, it's grimdark because all the characters are horrible people, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I want to be bros with Glocta. Like Logan and I, we'd have a beer.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, you just don't know. Yeah, that's fine.
Glocta tortures some people, but he has a good heart.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I would agree. I do think he has a good heart. He's just, I guess like one of his faults though is that he's just it's about him and his family at all costs, right? Like for the most part, as far as what I remember. And to be fair, I think a lot of people feel that way. Feel the same way as Glocta does. But
and I guess for me, I have to like characters in a book. Like I don't mean that I have to be like I'd be best friends with them. I have to have at least one character that I kind of feel like they have a redeemable quality. I am not one for the super dark. Everyone is a shitty person type books, because for me, I need there to be someone likable. And I feel like Abercrombie has those people. I've heard of some of these other like newer grimdarks that are like, everybody here is the worst person ever. I can't do those.
I don't think I'd enjoy that.
There was one that I think you had read at least part of it. That was a book that came out a few years ago that didn't have any content warnings, if I remember correctly. That just, to me, it sounded like, oh my gosh, this sounds like a book that I will never read just because it sounds very much like everyone's the worst person ever.
I think I remember the conversation about that one. Was that 11th Cycle or something?
That one.
Maybe.
And like, no shade. I don't know the guy at all. It could be a great book for me. I need those like likable characters. The thing is that I think Suri, Rach says Suri's not the most likable heroine, but you still sort of root for her, and that's enough. Suri, and I tend to be the kind of person like Suri is trying to do the best with what she has. And she doesn't have much, and it's been a pretty terrible situation for her, but she's trying to do something. She makes some bad decisions, but underneath it all, I feel like she's someone you can root for.
Yeah, I was about to say she's definitely a victim of her own consequences at times, right? But, it's not that case all the time, and she does try to do, like, the right thing when she can, at least from what I saw in book 1, so.
And, speaking of people you can root for, shut up, Alex, Corden Talon. What a guy.
I'm sure he has his fans. Yeah.
Oh, he does. So for those of you in the chat, if you haven't read my book, we are going to talk about me for a little bit. To quote Toby Keith, I want to talk about me.
I want to talk about me.
Want to talk about me. So this was my first book, My Voice of War. Corden, I love Corden. He's amazing.
I like him.
A lot of people hate him because he's a fop and a dandy and he's self-involved. But underneath it all, he's a decent guy.
Yeah.
You just have to get to that point. But let's pivot to Cork. Because Cork, I feel like, so Cork is one of the side characters in the Envoys of War. And he is the main character of my novella, The Pawns of Havoc, that is coming out at the end of the month. This is one of my first official copies. I got them in the mail yesterday.
So exciting.
And they look so good. Like, I like my first cover. At some point, I'll probably get a new one because I didn't really know what I was doing. And I was just like, yeah, I like covers with characters on the front. But this one I feel like is just a better overall cover. So I think
they both drive the story really well, though. Like, I don't think anyone who reads Envoys will look at the cover and think, that's not really
gay pirate YA. That's what people think when they look at it. So basically, at one of my in-person events, I was selling it, and this person walked over and said, gay pirates, and walked away. And so, yeah, apparently that's all I'm good for. But there's lots of shade being thrown at me in the chat right now, but we're going to pivot to Cork here in a second. Rach, I agree with you. Corden, I love Corden. He's amazing. Alex's favorite. Yeah, Alex, no one cares what you think. We can't make it through a Scribes live stream without Corden featuring. It's because Corden hosts them all. Hello, what's up?
Hey, Mike.
Mike is here. What's up? We are about to talk about
Tree Smut.
Pirates, Tree Smut. We're one and the same. Mike knows what he's talking about.
Wow, okay.
Mike, I knew I liked you. So,
he's my favorite bald host.
He apparently owes both of us a book review. I didn't know he'd actually read Envoys. So that's the exciting thing for me tonight. Alex's favorite scene is when Corden gets beat up. Tracks. So the Pawns of Havoc. This is about Cork. He is a side character in the Envoys of War, and this is his prequel novella. I feel like I leveled up my writing
Oh, for
from
sure.
Envoys to this one, just from I'd never written a fantasy story or novel until Envoys. I'd written a bunch of literary fiction, but I had never written a fantasy book. I'd read a lot of them, but so that was kind of my first thing and first time. And I probably found like some of the pitfalls that, you get when you are not super experienced with a genre or it's the first full novel I'd written, because I'd always kind of flamed out and written them as novellas because I couldn't quite get to novel length. So yeah, it's the first book. I love it, but there's always room to go up from there. But Pawns is my new book. It's coming out here in a few weeks. And so far, the feedback has been really good. A lot of people who've liked Envoys have said, like, this is good. Envoys was good, but this is a step up. And it's something like,
Nice.
in general, overall, better. And it gives me a lot of confidence moving forward as I continue to write further books in the series to, like, I'm doing what writers want to do, which is improve. But so this is a 102 pages on Kindle novella following a mission or a job that Cork as a mercenary goes on with 2 other mercenaries. And, it's a lot of fun. You might like it. It's only 99 cents. Like, that is the price it is going to be forever. The ebook, 99 cents, unless it's free sometimes. And, but it's available for pre-order. And apparently I'm not supposed to say it's fun, because I'm supposed to say it's depressing and sad.
It's not a silly, goofy
It is
time.
a darker story than Envoys. Mike's asking Dave, how do you handle being the premier fantasy writer in the U.S.? Well, Mike, it's a lot of work. I wake up in the morning. I make sure that my head is still bald because I don't want to grow more hair. I don't want to look. There's these idiots with a full head of hair who just no one wants to look like them. So, yeah, it's a lot of work. I'm definitely not the premier fantasy writer in the US. I have been really lucky to have gotten a decent amount of people to, like, read my books and either like my books or tell me they like my books. But, it's one of those things. I can't say that Pawns is fun. I have to say it's sad. Rach prefers Envoys because Pawns was sad. I'm sorry. There's silly, goofy moments.
There are some goofy moments. From the bit I read, I haven't finished Pawns, of course, but
Rach, do it. It's it'll bring you to a whole new, you'll ascend to a new plane as a writer. And then what you can do is you can be on Mike's show, Bald and Balding.
And Baldest. Yeah.
Well, the thing about Bald and Balding is that you've got Mike, who's bald, and you've got this other guy, Ro, who is not bald, and really not even that balding. It's kind of a misnomer.
Yeah.
Ro probably needs to work a little bit harder on balding.
I'm a fan of misnomers.
Yeah, I know. I've read your books.
Yeah.
So,
why wait, Lamia? We could just kick him out today. Just
I'm the founder.
And CEOs get ousted all the time, buddy. All right.
People in the chat, ask us questions.
Yeah, if y'all have any questions,
anything like that.
Well, do you have any intention of putting Pawns as a newsletter giveaway, or is it going to KDP? Because you didn't mention.
So I had originally decided it was going to be a newsletter get thing. And then once I got a little bit further on in it, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to market this as a like novella. I'm gonna do my thing, do arcs, do all that kind of stuff, because I just felt like that was the way to find readers. And I had a lot of success with arcs for envoys, and so I did the same thing with pawns. And I've done pretty well so far with getting people to read and review the book. I think I sent it out to 55 people.
Awesome.
And I've gotten 17 ratings here. And
That's
we've got
pretty good.
another, 21 days to go until release. So
that's
works
that's a
for
great
me.
ratio.
But yeah, I think what I might do is send on my newsletter, like the day before release, send the book funnel link to anyone who wants to download it from my newsletter for free. But it's 99 cents. Those verified reviews on Amazon are really nice. So if anyone does want to buy it for 99 cents and do that cool verified review, I'm good with that. One thing, I haven't ever done a free giveaway with envoys because I wasn't really sure how much they worked. But for something like a novella, I feel like I can do some free giveaway type stuff and make it make sense a little bit more.
Yeah. That makes sense.
No, you can't, Rach.
You could step down, do the right thing and vacate. Who
would take over?
Alex probably.
Oh God, no, I can't do that.
Well, we'd have to put, another guy in charge,
So Alex says, "Are y'all coming out with an anthology soon?"
Yes,
we are. I don't know.
I don't know soon. Yeah,
I don't know.
Sort of a secret.
Audrey was asking me yesterday when the anthology was coming out, and my answer was, "I have no idea." Whenever Alex finishes it, so
yes, it's in the works. Right, is the best.
We do. We have a Secret Scribes anthology coming out soon. I wrote a cozy fantasy story for it within my world. I don't think I've read almost all of them. I don't actually think I've read yours, Greg.
Oh,
so I think you finished yours either too early, and I read all the ones that were posted.
Tell me how you really feel. No, that's okay.
Or too late. I just, if I did read it, I don't remember it at all.
You can admit I'm your least favorite scribe. It's fine. I get it.
I'm trying to remember what yours was about.
Yeah, it's connected to the world of Cracks of the Deepest Black. So it's like it's a standalone. Alex has read them both, so I think he can not contest, but he can confirm that it stands on its own as a short story. While also for people who end up reading both, they'll see how it fits into the greater narrative. But
so L says, how many total Scribes books are there out there now?
I don't know.
No idea.
Lorraine has. She's got 2.
Rach
the third one.
He's gonna guess 23.
So many
Shit,
books.
Greg technically has 5. Forgot about Dave's MFA book. My MFA book has been unpublished, so we're not really counting it anymore.
Technically 5 is true.
But
sorry, the short story collection.
Alex says.
I forgot. Yeah. I also have this short story collection that I forgot to show off earlier. It's 7 short stories, all in wildly different settings and different magics and different characters, and none of them are connected other than the sort of theme of power and magic corrupting, whether internally, externally, or however. The same artist too, Christiana, did this amazing cover for me. Yeah. But the stories in it, while most of them garnered an honorable mention as a short story in the Writers of the Future contest, I mean, they're not nearly as good as what I write now, and I can look back and admit that. But I think there's some very decent ones in there that are fun. Even thinking back on some of them, I'm like, oh, that's a fun story. But yeah, so 5 for me. Thanks, Rachel.
So Mike is asking this. I don't think he was here whenever you were talking about that. So if you'd go over again, what's
Watch
next
the
for
replay.
Greg?
No, I was just kidding. I just real short and concise. I have the first draft. Well, it's technically the second draft is about to be done of Cracks of the Deeps of Black, which is a new series, way more epic in scope. 3 POVs, some interlude chapters with different POVs that Alex likes and doesn't like. There's one in there that's a little ancillary that Tolis doesn't really do a lot, and I'm kind of on the fence on whether I'm keeping him in or not, but we'll see what other early readers say. And then I also have a speculative fiction fantasy in the works called He Who Ate the Wild. I'm only a chapter or 2 in on that. And then I have another series that is on its 3rd draft, but that I need to touch up very heavily. That's Of Stars Below, and it's an even bigger door stopper than Cracks. But yeah, that's what's in the works. I think Rachel made a joke. I do have like a 5-year timeline that I'm doing my best to stick to, but we'll see how that goes in the upcoming year, if I can keep with it or not. So
you have here different styles of writer. Greg has a 5-year timeline. He's got like these entire series. He's named every book. And then you've got Dave over here who's like, I'll probably write another book. Maybe I could write another book. I am currently working on the second book in the Envoys of Chaos series, but I kind of have a title for that one and a title for the third book in that series. But beyond that, I'm like, what am I going to do after that? I have no clue. Like, I've still got to write those books. Who knows what's going to happen? Like, I'm very much like, I do outline, but I think I'm a little bit more of a seat of the pantser than some people. I would say I think it's like the plantser is what people say, where like you plan, but then you kind of go from there, and that's probably more me. You've got your 5-year plan. You're all set and ready to go.
Yeah, if it works out, Dave knows his plans. Yeah.
I know failed plans.
And I did want to mention Bella, because obviously she doesn't have a release coming out this month, but she did do a double release last month, which is absolutely insane. And I feel like I'd be doing a disservice if we didn't mention the Wise Man's Sorrow, the Sorrow of the Wise Man, and book 2. Is it Blood and Dreams? I think Blood and Dreams.
Blood and Dreams and the Sorrow of the Wise Man.
Yeah, I think it is the Sorrow.
I don't remember.
Oh no, I feel so bad because I'm the one who brought it up, and I think it's the
I
Sorrow
thought
of
it
the
was
Wise
the
Man.
Sorrow of the Wise Man, but then you said the Wise Man's Sorrow, and that sounded right too. So I don't. But yeah, Bella released 2 books last month.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of. I mean, I know Rob has a book that's in betas, but I don't know if he's actually set a release date.
I don't believe yet. No.
And then Sean, his fantastic novella is, I believe, coming out in June. Checks and Balances and Monster Hunting, I believe, is the full title. It's fantastic.
Procedures too.
Procedures, yeah.
Yeah.
That one, I beta read it. It's hilarious. If
I'm looking forward to it.
Humorous fantasy. And people have said that it has some Kafka-esque connections because of like the bureaucracy and sort of the like never-ending bureaucracy of things, which kind of connects to like the hopelessness of Kafka in some ways. Andres read it and he was talking about that, and then I was like, it actually does kind of connect to that. I didn't think about it when I was reading it, but Sean's book is coming out this summer, and Damien's book just came out a few days ago.
Yeah, the re-release. That's right.
The re-release of the Tome of Heron, or Haren. I don't actually know how you say it.
I've never heard him talk about it on like live or something, so I'm not sure. And he's Australian, isn't he? So he'd probably pronounce it differently.
Tome of Heron, mate.
Okay, that's terrible.
Wait, we need a spreadsheet. Alex loves spreadsheets.
Alex does love spreadsheets. And then Alex has his secret project that we're not going to talk about more because it's his secret to share. But he's cooking something that's I think a lot of people are.
I don't know if it's with gas or not, but he's cooking.
He's propane.
And we've seen. I'll say Greg and I have seen something related to Alex's novel. Greg's seen even more than me, but we've seen something that is going to get people like freaking hyped.
Yeah, and Lorraine's working on a novella as well.
Lorraine decided she needed to get a Sphinx. She needed to enter Sphinx next year.
Do you have any intention of putting Pawns into Sphinx?
I will definitely. Okay. Pawns will be in Sphinx. Basically, my thought with all of the competitions, I'm going to enter Envoys into the next SPIFBO and see if it makes it in.
Might as well try.
Am I expecting to win these competitions? Meh. Who cares? Like, if I get a few people who read the book and like it, works for me. Like, I'm not really super concerned. Like, I don't really care if I win the competitions as long as I find readers.
I was really hoping that Bloodwoven would do well in SPIFBO, and to be fair, I don't think it did poorly. Like, it was cut, but the judge gave it like a pretty generous review while cutting it. And I absolutely think that some of the exposure I got, I wouldn't have gotten without it, right? So I was fortunate that the book sort of was a good fit for the judge, and that and
like, even Sean, his book was not a good fit for his judge, and he got cut with a DNF review, and I think he still got like 4 or 5 other people who read the book and reviewed on blogs or websites talking about how much they loved the book. And so still some exposure, even with like his actual judge read 25% or whatever and DNF'd. So
exactly.
Even if it doesn't quite work out to like making it to the end or whatever, I feel like you're still bringing in some readers.
It's still better than nothing. Yeah, realistically.
Mike is launching a
third series only novellas. Novella. Okay.
It's actually called The Bald Butcher, and it's about a butcher who lives on Mars. And
that doesn't sound cozy, or like a meat butcher.
He's like a meat butcher, and he makes sausages on Mars, and he sells his sausages to all the women of the community. Wait, Mike, what kind of book are you writing?
I think that's all Dave. I don't think Mike had anything to do with that. I
don't know. I am going on Mike's show here in a few weeks, and I will remember the
Bald Butcher
novella and talk about it there. The Bald Sausage novella.
I guess I technically have something novella length written and done, but I don't think it's going to be ready. And I don't even
think my year, Greg. This is my year, not yours.
I don't even think it needs to be a novella.
Mine and Lorraine's year and Bill's year, not yours, Greg. You already had your year.
Why can't I have more years? I don't understand.
You can have as many years as you want.
Okay, well, 2025 is my year. Just you wait.
This is the year of Greg. Right, you heard it here first.
Maybe you also probably heard it here last, because there won't be much more.
Any more questions from people in the chat, we're going to wrap up here pretty soon because I am tired.
Of me.
Mostly
He's
of
tired
it.
of me.
I've got a week of school left, and I am
You're so close to
on
that.
fumes. I'm so close to being done, and like I'm able to my play is done, so I'm able to get home a lot earlier. Mike asked, "How is the spring show?" Spring show was fantastic. Kids completely knocked it out of the park. I'm so glad it's done, just because I get to go home at 4:00 instead of 7:30. But I'll miss. So I guess I can announce it here. I've announced it basically everywhere else. I am moving to a new school next year. And so I'm leaving the school where I'm working right now. And so I told all the kids after the show that I was leaving them, and they cried and they were very sad. And I've been there for 4 years, but I'm moving to a closer school because my wife and I are our first embryo transfer for IVF will be later this month. We're hoping for good news there, and if not, we do the next transfer pretty soon after. But just like with all that, and we're looking at buying a new house, just I wanted to be a little closer to home because my current job is 45 to 50 minutes away, and I'm moving to a school that's about 20 minutes from where we live now and about 10 minutes from where we're planning to move to. So I'm making that move. And yeah, I make kids cry. I've made a lot of kids cry in the last week and a half. Alex has laughed so hard on this stream, and he says to have a great night. Rach asks, what's one thing you're both looking forward to the most from author life in 2025? I might. So I'm gonna have two answers here. First answer, which is the soulless business answer, and second, which is like the fun part. I might almost get to breaking even on some things. Like I am more than halfway on Envoys at this point, and I'm about 25% to Pawns, and Pawns hasn't even come out yet. Because I didn't spend much on Pawns. Like I've been doing really well with sales. Like readers have been fantastic. People have been like, the support's been awesome. And so like I'm doing, and my Amazon numbers are never all that fantastic, but it's been a lot of the in-person events and from my website. But I'm slowly moving to where I'm obviously not breaking even because I'm spending money on the new thing and everything like that. But it's encouraging to be like, I'm not that as far in the hole as I was in October when I was so far in the hole. So that's an exciting thing for me. I think the big thing I'm looking forward to is just continuing my series and getting to go into some new places with some of these characters and just continuing to do things with all of the friends that I've made and the Scribes and Willow Waith. Yeah, that's their name, Willow Waith, and just all the different people that I've met that have been awesome, supportive, a lot of fun to hang out with, and just looking forward to continuing all of that. Gray, what about you?
I want to take over the world. Forget all that feel-good stuff. I want people to read my books and be like, wow, this guy writes. No, as far as 2025, I've got, I can't talk more about it, but I've got a secret project in the works that hopefully I'll have more information on pretty soon. And yeah, I'm just hoping to be able to continue what I'm doing. I'm nowhere near breaking even, but I've done well, right? Like I think Bloodwoven has had a good first year, and I think it's only gonna continue on from there because people are continuously finding the book one of the series. It's only been a year that it's been out, so I'm hoping 2025 just continues forward positively. There's always that hope that like, oh, maybe something will pop off and you'll catch that like next break, and sales will just rocket from there. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just having a good time. I really do enjoy writing. I think even if I didn't publish anything moving forward, I'd probably still continue to write just for me, because it's so cathartic, and it's such a, I don't know, it's my zen. It's where I relax. That's why I do it so much, because it's literally one of my favorite hobbies. So, and the fact that I'm doing it and getting better at it is also an added bonus. So 2025, just keep on keeping on. Not a lot of high hopes, but.
So Greg Cahill, you heard it here first.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm as tall as him, but probably not. I don't know. He's got a lot of fans, but maybe someday, right?
If you guys want to join the Bloodwoven Discord, it is the Binding.
I don't have a Bloodwoven Discord.
Someone was asking me the other day if I had a Discord or a Patreon, and I was.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
Well, I could see a Patreon, I guess. If
don't have any of those kind of things.
I made a Ko-Fi one time, and I think the only one who tried to interact with it was Tim.
Yeah.
And I was like, stop.
Basically,
no, don't.
I made a Ko-Fi, and I think Tim was like 2 of the 3 things on the Ko-Fi were Tim.
Yeah, he's a really nice supporter.
Tim Wolf.
He's awesome. But no Discords anytime soon. No subreddits, nothing like that.
I have a Discord. It's called the Secret Scribes Discord.
That's
running that one. I mean, I don't really have to do much to run it, but like,
no,
those are enough. The Discords I'm in right now, I don't need to have a tell me about my books Discord.
Right. May has actually, now that I think about it, May has been huge because Bloodwoven was part of a buddy read. It was in a Discord. And a good number of people, I think there were 5 readers who were taking part in it. And 2 or 3 of them DNF'd it. They said the narrator wasn't quite for them because Bloodwoven audiobook released last month, same as Envoys of War audiobook. But like 2 or 3 readers also finished it. So I'm like, okay, that's a pretty good percentage. Yeah. So I was pretty happy with that.
Audiobooks, I think the Pocket of Lies audiobook is going to be coming out sometime this summer.
And she has that sick special edition that dropped.
And
that
Rach
limited
also
edition.
has the 6th special edition. Rach is killing it.
Yeah.
She's totally just wiping the floor with the rest of us with her.
Well, it's not a competition, Dave.
I know it is not a competition, even though.
But if it was, she would be winning for sure.
If it were a competition, we'd have voodoo dolls of her. As it is right now, the only one that has any voodoo dolls of her is Alex.
I don't. You think? Well, maybe.
That's just. Doesn't it seem like Alex would have voodoo dolls of other people?
No, I think he'd have like collectible figurines of people.
That makes sense. Oh yeah, it was supposed to be coming out this month, but
the audiobook or the special edition?
Audiobook.
Okay, yeah.
I think
the
narrator was having
sick
laryngitis issues, got sick, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, audiobooks. I mean, right now, that's about the only reading I'm getting done. So for me, getting audiobooks done was the thing that I wanted to get it done because it's one of the ways that I consume books. Yeah. And I've got my narrator will be recording Pawns here this summer. I think you said your narrator is doing Bitter Ends.
He's supposed to be doing Bitter Ends, but I haven't heard from him in a while, and so I might need to touch base with him, see if he's still on board to do that, because we had like a soft contract for it, but nothing was set in stone. So I need to get with him. But I wish I could have gotten my audiobook done sooner, because my great aunt, when I published a short story collection, her eyesight was already gone and faded, and so she couldn't. She wanted to read it and she couldn't. And she kept pestering me in a very loving way about getting an audio done. And at the time, it just wasn't feasible. And I wish I could have gotten it done sooner for like all my stuff, because you don't think about that when you think about, or at least I didn't think about like visual impairment when I've thought about audiobooks. But for some people, it's the only way they can consume. And while it is, a little cost prohibitive, there are ways to get it done. So.
Yeah, and I did it the royalty share way, where I did not pay anything at all up front. And I've been really happy with my the narrator and the audiobook. I think it was a lot of fun. So yeah. Audiobooks are cool. We are the Secret Scribes. Go buy Greg's. If you haven't read Bloodwoven, go get all 3 of them. If you have read Bloodwoven, the other 2 are out there. They're all on KU. They are all available for art, for paperbacks and all that. Bloodwoven is an audiobook. Can also get all of Rachel's books on KU. And I think she said her first book, Pocket of Lies, is going to be free the next few days starting tomorrow.
Yes.
And then my first book, The Envoys of War, is on KU, and it's also an audiobook. And this guy right here is coming out here in a few weeks, and it'll only be 99 cents. So lots of exciting books. We really appreciate everyone, all your support.
Absolutely.
And I apologize that Roro did not make an appearance in the stream. She never really came over and hopped up on me. So next time. Roro, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Let's say goodbye, Roro.
Great.
Come here. There you go. There's...
Almost.
Come here. All right. Bye, everybody. Hope you guys have a great night.
Oh, come here.
We're getting the doggo. Doggo alert. Doggos.
Oh, your paws are wet.
Okay. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a great night.
Have a good night. Woo, here you go. He is